everyone. So one thing that you guys might not know about me is that I've been making bread, sourdough bread, for the past 3 years. It kind of was something I got interested in during COVID and got some starter from somebody in Peachtree Corners, and she kind of helped me muddle my way through getting the bread going. And since then, I've pretty much been making it about once a week. It's hit or miss about in my family. For a while, it was obsession with sourdough bread and avocado toast, and I definitely prefer it. Here's a loaf that I made 3 days ago, and this is made in this bowl. So basically, first what I want to do is kind of go through the equipment you need before you start making bread, and then we're going to walk through the different stages of making the bread. And I'll tell you, I'm not a baker. I like to cook, but I like cooking because there's no measurements. But in regards to baking this bread, you do need to follow the instructions on how much to put in of all the different ingredients, and it's very easy. I don't look at a recipe, I haven't in years. There's ways to use your discard, which I have not done, but you can find all this information online. So the first thing that you're going to need is regular flour, all-purpose flour, and bread flour. I did not know the difference before I was making bread, but now I know this is really important. You're going to feed your starter with regular flour, all-purpose flour. You're going to make your bread dough with bread flour. You're going to want a scale, and this is just an electric scale that I got off Amazon, super cheap, and you're going to measure everything in grams when you make bread. These are 2 different bread bowls. These are both Emily Honorary. What is that? Was that what it is? But when you make sourdough, it's actually going to steam. So you make the bread. I put parchment paper in, put this on top while it's baking for 30 minutes, and then take that off at the end, and it gets all crispy on top. So this is one style, and this loaf was made in that bread bowl. So it's more of a round sourdough traditional. The other option is more of a sandwich bowl, and we've been using this more. I just got this, my next door neighbor's making bread too, and she got this one, and it's gonna make the bread a little bit more dense. You can't let it rise as much because it's not as tall. So sometimes that's an issue if I have my bread out to rise longer. But it's fun to have both of them, and we've kind of been liking the size of this bread here. I use a bowl with a lid when I'm making my dough. It's up to you. Otherwise, you can just cover it with saran wrap. I keep all of my starter in jars like this, but you can put them in a plastic container. And then this is a bread knife. My sister-in-law was very sweet and got this for me from Ballerina Farm, but I've seen them other places. But basically, the bread is so hard on top that it's easier. You need a good serrated bread knife. So this is really cool, and I would recommend one of these if you get into bread making. And you're also going to need parchment paper to line when you're making your dough. So now we're going to go through a series of the different steps of how to make the bread. All right, so let's start with what I do with my starter. And again, I've had the starter for 3 years, not kidding. I've had it for a long time. So what I do is I hibernate my starter every week in the refrigerator. So I have a jar and this has been in there. This has the starter in there. This I pulled out about an hour and a half ago. So I get it back to room temperature. And then now this starter is ready to be fed so that you can make it live again. So here, I don't know if you can see, but this really looks, there's no movement. It just looks kind of dull. Sometimes you're gonna get some liquid in the top, maybe a little yellowish in color, but you're not gonna see bubbles. This is just not active. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna feed this starter so we can then move on and make bread with the active starter. Okay, so now how to feed your starter. So I've had my starter pulled out of the refrigerator for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and none of these times have to be exact. But I've gotten it back to room temperature. I'm sitting it on the scale. So now I'm going to feed it to get it going and make it active again. Grab a spoon here. So I am going to feed it equal parts flour and water. So if you're wanting to do 2 loaves of bread in the same time, on the same day, you could feed it more, but whatever you feed it, you want equal parts, all-purpose flour and water. So I'm just making a regular batch, so I'm gonna put 60 grams of flour. Almost there. Oh, and that's 62. Pull a little bit out. I'm at 61. Now I'm gonna add water. So now we're gonna put equal parts. So I'm gonna get to 120 grams, adding my water. Oh, a little bit extra. Actually got to 126, so I'm just gonna even it out and throw a little bit more flour in there. Again, doesn't have to be exact. So then you're gonna make sure and just stir your starter, your flour and your water. Get it going. And it's gonna look really dense at this point. And that's when I'm going to let it sit by the window. And here's, you're gonna see it looks kind of dense and thick because it's got the flour and the water and the starter. So I'm just gonna put the top on that and stick it by the windowsill. Just to give you reference, now if you look in this one, this is the flour that's, the starter that's been fed about 3 hours ago. You've got bubbles already going on the sides, and you've got just more movement because the starter is active. All right, so now we're gonna actually make the dough. So this starter was fed about 3 hours ago, been sitting on my windowsill, so it is ready to go. I have my bowl on my scale. Again, don't forget, zero out your scale, so we're at 0. So a lot of the recipes say you only need 60 grams of the starter, but when I was taught how to do it, I was told to put more like 100. So I'll put anywhere 80 to 100, it kind of depends. I don't have a ton of starter in here right now because I've kind of divided it up to share with some people. So it just depends on what your discards are. This is, I'm gonna put a little bit more. Okay. So I have, so I have 97 grams of starter in there. This container now, after I'm done getting my active starter out of the starter that I fed this morning, I'm gonna stick that in the refrigerator and let it hibernate again until I'm ready to go. Note that you can leave this starter in the refrigerator for several weeks. I think it's a good idea after 2 to 3 weeks to go ahead and make a loaf or pull it out, feed it, and just throw some of the starter away. You can also look online. There's a lot of recipes for what to do with your discards. I, again, have never done this, but I've heard there's some great focaccia recipes. You can make waffles, pizza crust, a lot of different options of what to do. Pancakes with your discard starter, I just haven't done that, but definitely be more creative than I am on that route. So now I'm gonna zero out my scale. I've got around 100 grams of starter in there. Now I'm gonna start with my salt. So you're gonna put about 12, 13 grams of salt in there, and you do need the salt. We've had times where I've forgotten to put the salt in and everybody's like, this bread has no flavor. So I'm gonna I've got 12 in there right now. So 12 grams of salt. Then you're gonna put warm water in, and it's 350 grams of warm water, like bathtub water. So it can't be scorching water, but it needs to be pretty warm water. It just doesn't seem to do as well when it gets scorching hot. So I'm gonna zero out my scale again, and I'm gonna get 350 grams. Then I just like to kind of mix up the water and the salt and the starter just to kind of get it going. And then now we're gonna zero out my scale again, and I'm gonna add the bread flour. So 500 grams of bread flour. A little bit more, so pull that out. And then you're not really you just wanna kind of blend it together, but you don't wanna stir it. So you just wanna get everything wet. Mix the flour. And this is why I like to mix my water. I just kind of think it requires less stirring of all the ingredients. I'm gonna stir it up. And the dough's gonna be a little stringy. That's normal. So get it all together. And then you're just gonna let it, so as you can see, it's thick, kind of like that. So it's ready to go. At this point, you can do one of two things. It's best to leave it on the counter for at least an hour or two and come through and just pull it. Just make sure you're pulling your bread. It's gonna become more of a dough-like form, and you can just kind of turn it a little bit to mix it up just to get it going. You're just wanting to get the yeast going, basically. but I do keep it covered so it doesn't dry out. You can put saran wrap on here, or you can put, I just like these bowls with the top because it's just easy and you can reuse them. A lot of times I will actually start this process in the afternoon, and in the evening before we go to bed, I'll stick the whole thing of the dough into the refrigerator like this. Then the next morning, I will pull it out, get your dough on the counter, room temperature after a couple hours. Again, these time limits can be stretched. It really just depends on how my day's going, but I'll get it to room temperature. I'll form my dough, roll it out, do a little bit of kneading, and put it in the bowl to rise for a few hours. Last week I forgot, and it was 5 or 6 hours, and I had it in the smaller bread loaf, and it was way too big. So I had to move it to the bigger bowl to cook it, to get the top on, and it was still fine. The bread is delicious. So it kind of just can work with what's working for your day. But I do like to put the bread in the dough in the refrigerator overnight, because I think it just kind of gives it better flavor, and it doesn't require as much time in one day. So at this point, you can either put it in the refrigerator or leave it out, give it a few hours, and then go ahead and make your dough. Hey everyone, so now we're to our final step. We're actually gonna make the bread. So I'm gonna grab some all-purpose flour to put out on my counter. And this is when we're gonna knead the bread, but we're not gonna knead it a lot. It doesn't need to be like doing a ton of kneading. You just wanna kind of get some air into the dough, since this is sourdough, and kind of form your shape. So I have some parchment paper. I just spray it with a little bit of Pam, or this is avocado oil. And here is our dough. Sometimes it gets a little sticky to get out, so I'm going to grab a fork to just pull it out of my bowl. All right, so now you've got the nice dough formed, and I just pull it. So I kind of go like this and just pull it, because I'm just trying to get air into the dough. Oh, pulled it too much there. Roll over. I just keep pulling to get air, because that's going to make in the sourdough the little bubbles that are so good. Sometimes you'll hear some of them popping. I try to not push too hard, and I don't, as I said, I don't do a bunch of kneading. So at this point, my dough is ready to go. And make sure it's not sticky, so I kind of get it, all this flour on top. I'm going to put this into and I went ahead and did the sandwich loaf on this one. And now I'm going to cover this with saran wrap, and I like to put this under my light, and I'm going to leave it here to rise for, it just kind of depends. Once it gets to, and the top is going to be like this, so you don't want it too tall. But I'll probably leave it for about 2 hours, but sometimes it takes longer, and you really want to watch it. When it's cold in the winter, it's going to take longer to rise, so you're just going to keep an eye on it. But you do want it to rise, but it doesn't need to rise as long in this pot versus the round pot. So that's everything. And then you're going to cook it on 450 for 30 minutes with the top on, and then you're going to cook it for 15 minutes with the top off. Sometimes I lower my temperature to about 420, just a little bit, because it is going to look super crispy on top, but then once it cools, then it's not going to, it won't be hard, and I haven't ever had it really burn. So enjoy.